Good Thursday, world, and welcome to another episode of Bandog Talk with the Dog God. Okay, and this is brought to you by Formula One Canines. Okay, the Formula One of performance working dogs. That is me. That is the Dog God, aka the coach. So we're gonna let some people get up in here. I started about 5 minutes early. So if you're in the room, which I don't see anybody in the room, okay, we will start shortly. In the meantime, go ahead and get comfortable. Get you your herbal sensation if that's what you like. I don't partake in the herbal sensations, but if that's what you do, go get your herbal sensation, go get your drink, go ahead and relax. If you're out there working in the yard, working on the job, working with your dogs, got your earphones on, just listen, listen and learn. I'm here to, bring light to the band dog community and be a pioneer. Okay. One of, you know, hopefully many in the future pioneers of this band dog community. So, in the meantime, we'll get started shortly. Just wanted to, give a formal introduction and we'll get started soon. All right, man, I'm about to get me a drink myself. We'll be back in about less than 5 minutes. Hey, what's okay? Okay, shit. Had a viewer in here, and then they left. So I was going to, go ahead and give them some love. So we'll start in about a minute. Okay, world, die. Hopefully you got your earphones on or you're comfortable. You got your drink ready. You got your herbal sensation ready. And you're ready to, embark on this journey of Bandog Talk with the Dog God. In today's episode, which is episode 2, the topic is John B. Swinford the father of the modern day Bandog? I repeat, is John B. Swinford the father of the modern day Bandog? So we're going to elaborate on this, right? We're going to learn about John B. Swinford on this episode of Bandog Talk with the Dog God to see if this is really, if this is really true or not. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and we're going to dive right in. All right, here we go. Now, being that this is a new podcast, right? We'll let people come in whenever they come in. Other than that, it can be one person in there. It could be one person in here. It doesn't matter. I'm still going to give the knowledge. You understand? So here we go. All right. Okay, so as you see here, we got this picture of Swinford with the original band too, right? And, we're going to read through this here, right? This article by Denise Flame. And, just kind of find out who this John Bayard Swinford is, okay? On this episode of Bandog Talk with the Dog God. All right, so bear with me. Now, as I read through this, you guys can read through this yourself if you like. However, some of these names, I might slaughter the names, so don't hold me accountable to mispronunciating these names that I'm reading, okay? Let's just get to the nitty gritty of who John B. We're going to compact this name, right? John B. Swinford is, all right? And answer our question about him. All right, so let's go ahead. It says, Bandoggy beginnings. Okay, it says, let's rewind 5 centuries or so to Tudor England. Shakespeare was writing his plays. The plague was making the rounds, and several heads of criminals were a common sight on the London Bridge. Watching the goings on from their tethers in farm yards and alleys were band dogs, literally named for the fact that they were chained up or banned during the daytime and then left to roam and guard at night. Now we're going to stop here. Okay. So this is like many, many, many centuries ago, right? Many, many, many moons ago. This was describing what a band dog was, right? All right. So let's go ahead and read that sentence right there again so that, we went over this also in the first episode, but, we'll go ahead and, reiterate it on this episode too, what a band dog is. And this was many, many centuries and many, many moons ago. You feel me? So it says, watching the goings on from their tethers in farmyards and alleys were band dogs. Okay, so they called them that back in those days. Literally named for the fact, okay, literally So remember, Bandog is not a breed. It says literally named for the fact that they were chained up or banded during the daytime and then left to roam and guard at night. So that is truly what a Bandog was and is, but that's what a Bandog was back then and what a Bandog is right now. Remember, it is not a breed of dog. So let's keep going. In his description of England, written in 1586, William Harrison described the Bandog as a huge dog, stubborn, uglier, eager. Okay, uh, what's that say? Burthen. Shit, I don't even know what that says. Burthenous of body. Okay, terrible and fearful to behold, and often more fierce and fell than any Arcadian, okay, bear with me, you guys, or Corsican cur. 10 years earlier, Dr. Caius described a dog that was serviceable against the fox and the badger, to drive wild and tame swine out of meadows and pastures, to bite and take the bull by the ears when occasion so required. So back then in 1586, they're describing what these dogs look like and what they were used for. These band dogs, okay? Not a breed, but description of what they were back then and then also what they used for. So you guys understand that, right? All right, so let's keep it moving here. All right, let me see if we got anybody up in here. Okay, nobody is up in here yet. All right, just want to make sure I'm not missing nobody. But let's keep it moving. All right, so right here we got a picture of John B. Swinford and him with his Bandog. Looks pretty good though. Looks very nice actually. All right, so let's dig deeper into John B. Swinford. So it says John B. Swinford, the father of the modern day Bandog. Let's break it down. Over the centuries, the Bandog receded into the mist of history, a relic of less complicated and more brutal times than the ones in which we live now. In the later part of the 19th century, Victorian gamekeepers created their own version of the Bandog, which later evolved into a bona fide breed, the Bull Mastiff. Now let's stop here. I'm sure you guys didn't know this, and I didn't know this either. But as us breeders of dogs, 'cause I'm a breeder, and some of you guys are breeders as well, we know that every dog known to man that was created by man, not the wolf, but everything derived off of the wolf, was selectively bred and crossbred to create breeds, right? So it's saying over here, right? Let's read this again. Over the centuries, the Bandog receded into the mist of history, a relic of less complicated and more brutal times than the ones in which we live now. In the later part of the 19th century, Victorian gamekeepers created their own version, right? Created their own version. This is what I love about what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? As Bandog breeders, that we can create. Okay. They created their own version of the Bandog, okay, which later evolved into a bona fide breed, the Bull Mastiff. So there you go, right? That's how they created a Bull Mastiff. Bull Mastiff is pretty much a Bandog, if y'all didn't know. Now you know, okay? And then in the late 1960s and early 1970s, Long Island veterinarian John B. We just gonna call him John B. We're gonna keep it short. I like John B. Anyway, have you guys ever heard the R&B singer named John B? Yeah. So we're gonna call him John B. Swinford. Okay, so John B. Swinford undertook a breeding program that sought to replicate these original working mastiffs of the Middle Ages. So that's where his vision evolved. You understand? Okay. So he had a vision, and that's something that you guys need to have. When you're breeding, you need to have a vision that makes sense first. Just don't be over there just mixing and matching and doing shit without a vision. And obviously, John B. Swinford had a vision. Let's continue. Swinford's Swinford's work with the Bandog later more uh, advocatively, okay, spelled Bandoggy. Okay, I didn't even know that, which is pretty much the same thing, y'all. Bandog, Bandoggy is the same thing. Don't even get it. Don't let nobody confuse you and tell you it's something different. It's the same shit. Okay, excuse my language. Um, might have never risen above obscurity were it not for Arthur Carl Semin, so what's that? Semisic. Okay. Remember, like I said, we're gonna slaughter these names, but that's not what we hear. We're here to learn about John B. Swinford. So bear with me, but y'all can read along, you know what I'm saying? Who included Swinford in his influential book, The World of Fighting Dogs. Okay. So I don't know if you guys ever got a chance to peep that book out, but it's out there. So he actually included an article about Swinford in his book called The World of Fighting Dogs. Let's continue. Something of an awkward fit, as the band doggies were primarily created for protection, not blood sport. Fellow Long Islander Martin Lieberman, okay, met Swinford at the end of the 1960s. At the time, Lieberman had bull terriers, but was growing disenchanted with them for their lack of drive and was contemplating doing a Rottweiler pit bull cross. Okay, that's pretty cool. Barbara Letta, a bull terrier owner who has bred mastiffs, introduced him to Swinford, whose breeding program was already underway. Lieberman abandoned his Rottweiler plans. He says that the breed was never used by Swinford, and neither were Tosa Inus. Okay, so I guess this is a little segue or a little break off. Maybe people were assuming that Swinford used the Rottweiler pit bull mix in his recipe. Maybe that's what he's talking about or alluding to. Um, or the Tosa Inus in his breeding genetic recipe. Maybe that's what, but he's confirming that he didn't use those breeds or that formula in his genetic recipe. So that's what he's saying, Lieberman's saying, right? No matter what the articles of the internet says, and began collaborating with Swinford. Okay, so then I guess they became partners at that time. All right, so let me check, man. Let me make sure that as I'm going through this, nobody's in here, right? Oh, we got one, man. Who we got? What's good? Okay, shit, my bad, family. Let me make sure I tap in with you, brother. You know what I mean? What's good with you, Da Sixth Man? What's good with you, family? Thank you for joining me. We just going over the, as the topic of the show today is John B. Swinford, the father of the modern day band dog. So I'm just, giving you guys insight on who this person John B. Swinford is, and hopefully we can answer this question together. So I'm going to continue reading on, but man, welcome, man. I appreciate you being here, family. Real talk, much love and respect to you. But as I carry on, and also if you have any questions, man, feel free to type it in the chat. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna continue reading if that's okay with you, my brother. All right. Let's see here. Okay, so here we go. It says his dogs. Okay, this is Swinford, right? So his dogs were exactly what you wanted. Game bred pit bulls bred to very hard to find, rough and tumble English mastiffs, Lieberman says. In his first breeding, Swinford took a purebred English mastiff bitch named Octavia to a brindle pit bull. In that cross, the pit bull blood contributed the athleticism that the mastiff needed, as well as longevity. Okay. Lieberman says all the Swinford band doggies live well into their teens, something he attributes to the strenuous selection among serious breeders of fighting pit bulls. They breed the strongest to the strongest, and they're very, what's that? Parochio, I think that's what it is. Parochio. There we go. About that. Okay, I don't even know what that means, but I guess we can look that up later on. So, okay, I guess we got, so it's like, so check this picture out. It says English Mastiff Octavia with Swinford, first litter of Bandoggy's puppies. So this is his first one, which is dope. So he took a full, what's that, English Mastiff to a Brindle Pit Bull, which is dope. Actually, Brindle Game Bred Pit Bull. That was his first little Bandog recipe. All right, so let's read on. Okay, so despite their handier size, the Bandoggies, which is the same as a Bandog, it's the same shit, Bandoggies and Bandog, right? Were just a lot of dog, Lieberman says. These dogs were naturally suspicious, which a pit bull is not. They're basically mushes. Okay, so I guess, with, well, I don't say I guess. I mean, you're right about the pit bull. They're more people friendly. And, the Mastiff is more like, who are you? I'm going to check you. So that's that suspicion. But the Bandoggies had natural suspicion. So between that cross, what that's saying is between that cross, between that Mastiff and that pit bull, the Bandoggy, which was created from that, also, that genetic recipe, created that suspicious type Bandog pit bull cross. Okay, and the drive to back it up, which is pretty cool. That's what the pit bull brings. Is it brings that drive in there. Okay, so it says the Cocker Spaniel breeder Bill Garodner had just graduated college and opened a grooming shop in Manhattan when he met Swinford in the early 1960s at the world famous Westminster Dog Show. Garodner met a wildly colorful poodle breeder, groomer, and boarding kennel owner named Olive Capletti. The veterinarian she used for both her poodles and the dog she boarded was Swinford, who worked at the ASPCA in Manhattan. Though he had severely limited vision in one eye, Swinford nonetheless managed to compensate for it with his other eye to perform surgeries. All right, so, oh man, make sure we all good. Hey, blessings, man. I appreciate you listening, man. Real talk. Who else we got? We got another person up in here. We got two people up in here. A salute to you. Thank you for showing up. We just breaking down, the topic of today is John B. Swinford, the father of the modern day Bandog. That's what we're breaking down today. So I'm gonna continue on. Y'all can read with me, but I'm gonna go ahead and break everything down for you. So let's see where we at here. Okay, so here we go. A compulsive smoker who did not hesitate to prefer veterinarian help if it was needed, even if the prospect of compensation was slim. Swinford also had his own exotic practice, specializing in birds of prey. Okay. Garodner remembers that Swinford gave Capletti two woolly monkeys he had rescued, and they became the official greeters at the grooming shop. The little one named Puck used to pee on every woman who, in wearing a fur coat, Gardner recalls. Okay, that I guess shit. Guess he was marking his scent on the fur coat. All right, let's carry on. At the time, Capletti was working with her sister Anna on their eponymous. I never heard of that, but eponymous line of toy poodles. While Garodner says Swinford wasn't part of the breeding program, he did help them accomplish breedings. It would go to dog shows with Garodner, where the Capletti's dogs were being shown. In those days, toy poodles were evolving, and we would talk about how to get them taller by using miniature poodles, Garodner says. He knew about that and was fascinated by all of that. And it was information that likely stood Swinford in good stead later in the decades when he began breeding his own scaled down version of the Mastiff. All right, so I want to elaborate on this with the toy poodles and how they evolved and what they used, right? So you like on Instagram, right? I have a pretty good presence on Instagram. And I get a lot of spectators that want to talk about no such thing as this and no such thing as that. But as you see, when people create breeds, man creates breeds, they have to take other type breeds to use to infuse into dogs to create a breed, right? So when they were making the toy poodles, they had to use miniature poodles and things of that. And they had to use a lot of different stuff. And this is a requirement to breed making. You have to mix different breeds and you have to do selective breeding to do so. So for those of you who are, into breeding and creating dogs like myself, don't let these naysayers and spectators tell you how to do it. The people who were doing it from the past have been mixing breeds to create their breeds of dogs. That's the only way you can do. That's the only way you can create a breed. You got to mix breeds to do it. Okay. So, you know, that's pretty much what they were talking about in this little paragraph here. But let's continue on. Garrodner visited Swinford at his home in Muttontown, Long Island. By all accounts, Swinford was well off, okay, despite his unassuming appearance. When the first litter of Bandoggies was 4 months old, Garrodner remembers that there were 6 puppies, an assortment of fawns and brindles, and Swinford had kept them all. Okay. Such a crossbreeding was unorthodox, especially for that time, Garrodner admits. But John did his own thing. He marched on his own pipe. Okay. And that's how I do it right there as the coach, the dog god, man. I'm like John Swinford, man. I march to the beat of my own drum. This is what I love. I love to be in the lab creating and cooking. You know what I mean? So salute to John B. Swinford, man. Birds of a feather flock together. Okay. And there ain't nothing new under the sun. He just doing what all the OGs was doing when they was creating breeds. You know what I mean? Having a vision and cooking them up. So let's carry on. Okay. It was a dream he had. Okay. Like Martin Luther King, you got to have a dream. You got to have a vision first. And he had one. So salute to you, Swinford. Let's carry on. And he was so excited about creating this particular type of dog. While the Bandoggies bore a strong resemblance to a modern-day Cane Corso, Garrodner says form was less of an issue for Swinford than function. Okay, it was the temperament and size that he was looking for. Okay, so I like that. At that time, because he was in his lab experimenting, functionality of the dog was in the forefront more so than what the dog looked like. I'm sure he didn't know what that cook-up would be. He had an idea, but it wasn't that. That wasn't his concern. It was about the performance of the dog, being able as a band dog. Okay. Now, in our time, it's a little bit different now, right? Because, that was back in 1960s and shit like that, when Swinford was over there, having a dream. Now we in 2023, 2024 coming up. So we should be, implementing, form and function. You know what I'm saying? Like with me, with the Formula One canines, my movement, I'm frames, brains, and motors. I'm doing it all. You know what I mean? That's but we should be at that level. All right. But when he was doing it, you know what I mean? Being a pioneer in the US, okay, he was taking it slow. You know what I mean? Slow and steady, win the race. So shout out to Swinford, man. That's how you got to do it. You know what I mean? One step at a time. It's going to take some years to create a perfect dog. So he had the vision and the understanding. I mean, I'm pretty sure because he was a vet, so he understands they've been around all kind of different breeds of animals. But he had the vision early bird. So salute to Swinford on that. So let's keep it going. So we got a picture here of him with one of his band dogs. That's a big ass dog too, man. Okay, so let's go ahead and read a little bit more. Let me check, y'all. Bear with me. Okay, so we still got 2. Salute to y'all for sticking with me, man. I'm sure everybody will come later on or they'll catch it afterwards. But we'll carry on. So it says Swinford with Bantu 2. So we'll go ahead and read this. It says Lieberman knew all of Swinford's foundation dogs, including the famous Brindle Bantu, who was out of the first ever litter, but later met an untimely end after being hit by a car. Damn, that's unfortunate. As well as his son, the appropriately named Bantu 2. Okay, so luckily he had an offspring off of that, which he named Bantu 2. So salute to him on that. So I guess that's who it is. And matter of fact, I don't guess. That's who that picture is Bantu 2. All right, so let's carry on. As Swinford's breeding program progressed, an infusion of new blood was in order. Swinford and Lieberman called on Luigi Farina in East New York, Brooklyn, who spoke no English and relied on his son-in-law as an interpreter. Farina owned Italian bulldogs, later known as Neapolitan Mastiffs. Okay. Farina had a wine grapes growing all over his backyard, and he had Neos, and he also had an English Mastiff or two. Lieberman's recalls, okay, he had the best wine, and when you left there after doing a breeding, you left cockeyed. Okay, so man, you had good dogs and good wine, left you there tipsy, man. Hey, that's my kind of dude, man. Good dogs and good drink, we good. All right, so let's carry on. Bantu Two's sisters, okay, were crossed with Ferroni's stud dogs. Lieberman recalls the Neo weighed 240 pounds. Damn, that's a heavy dog. Good Lord. And the dog was not fat. Okay, all right. Okay, giving Swinford's dogs the hybrid vigor he and Swinford were seeking for. All right, so let's stop here. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the term hybrid vigor, but this is very important, especially when you're making performance type dogs, is what they call hybrid vigor. Okay. So I'm going to go click on one of my tabs here. We're going to look up the definition of hybrid vigor, just in case you guys don't know what that means. All right. I do, but I want to make sure you guys do. So let's go ahead and click over. All right. Okay. So hybrid vigor, right? You see that? What is meant by hybrid vigor? Okay, so it says heterosis, also called as hybrid vigor, and it highlights this. It says the increase in such characteristics as size, growth rate, fertility, and yield of a hybrid organism over those of its parents. Okay, it says plant and animal breeders exploit heterosis by mating two different purebred lines that have certain desirable traits. Okay, let me read that again, and then we'll kind of elaborate and make it more layman's. But I just want to give you the definition because I want to educate you on these things and why it is so important for people who know how to breed these dogs. Okay, to breed the right dogs, different family of dogs, right, with the desired characteristics, traits, so that you can get this explosion of genetics, man. Okay, that's why most dogs, matter of fact, every dog, if it's a superior breed, is a mixed breed of different family of dogs, so that you can get this, so that you can create your dog. So let's talk about this. Let's just read this definition one more time. What is meant by hybrid vigor? Okay, it says heterosis, also called hybrid vigor. The increase in such characteristics as size, growth rate, fertility, and yield of a hybrid organism over those of its parents. Okay. Plant and animal breeders. You understand this? You understand what I'm saying to you all, world? Plant and animal breeders. I happen to be an animal breeder. Some of y'all are animal breeders too. We breed dogs, right? Okay. So this is important to us. It's called hybrid vigor. You want this. Okay. Exploits heterosis by mating two different purebred lines that have certain desirable traits. And it's all about the explosion of the desirable traits. That's why hybrid vigor is so important. Okay. So when, let's say, for example, of a family of pit bulls that has those desired traits, and they're peaking at a high level, those traits, whether it be the size of the dog, the drive of the dog, the intelligence of the dog, the health of the dog, the muscle, all those things, you see it and it's consistent. And then you take another dog from a different family, could be a different family of pit bulls, or it could be a different family of any breed, but has the same type of characteristic, desired characteristic, maybe even have a couple more, but it's at a high peak level. Okay. Now, as breeders, we're praying to God that we get hybrid vigor by picking the best of the best quality and breeding them together, and pray when you get those productions that hybrid vigor happens. The best of those genetics from that side of the family, whether it be the dame, the best of the genetics from the sire's family, right? And then you combine them into that explosion, man, and then you get better than the parents, man. That's hybrid vigor, man. So salute to Swinford. So let's go back. Okay, let's go back here. And like I said, y'all bear with me. I don't want to lose my place, but let me make sure I'm all good here. Okay, so where we are. All right, so let me make sure we're good. Okay, we got 5. Hey, salute everybody who's joined us. The topic, okay, is John B. Swinford, the father of the modern day Bandog. And we've been reading about John B. Swinford. So for those of y'all who missed it, y'all hit the rewind button later on down the line once the live is over and you can catch up. But other than that, let's carry on. We're talking about John B. Swinford. So we're reading about him, breaking him down. So, come along with me. Let me see. I would love to see you cook up something huge like that. I mean, bro, I got some good cookups, man. If you follow me on IG, you see me in the lab all the time. I got some next level cookups, man. But see, size, it's not about size for me. It's about frames, brains, and motors. I do my stuff like Formula One cars. I do my dogs like Formula One race cars. You know what I mean? You got the fastest race cars. It's not really the heaviest. Matter of fact, it ain't the heaviest. You know what I mean? They use the light parts, but they strong. You know what I mean? So I'm not really into big dogs like that. I'm into big enough dogs. But performance is my thing. You know what I mean? So, I mean, we'll elaborate more on that after this, after we break down John Swinford. So salute to everybody in the chat. Salute to everybody that's on. And I will continue on about Mr. Swinford. So we just went over hybrid vigor. So hopefully you guys understand what that means and what that is, right? So let's carry on. Okay, it says a favorite band doggy, which is Bandog, by the way, for you guys who missed it, right? So it says a favorite band doggy bitch that resulted from the Neo cross was Chewy, which means leopard in Swahili. Okay, and she looked exactly like a black leopard with a very long tail and a soft, shiny jet black coat that felt like silk when you touched it, says Lieberman. Okay, says who had legitimate basis for comparison. For his 27th birthday, Swinford handed Lieberman a what's that Walderbum's okay shopping bag, whatever that is. Okay, it says inside was a 4-week-old Jaguar cub. Sheesh, man, they was over there peddling exotic pets back in those days, back in the 1960s, man, 1970s, man. Wow, what a gift, a Jaguar cub. Okay, so it says Lieberman says Swinford asked him to pin the standard for the Swinford band doggy, and he happily complied. Okay. In an effort to keep Neo induced hypertype at bay, tight eyes were very important. Droopy lids were a no no. Keeping size in check was also our priority, with ideal dogs weighing about 100 pounds and standing at 25 inches at the withers. Dark colors were preferred, and brindles were acceptable. Knowing what I know now, I would have never cropped the ears. I would have been happy with a rose or drop ear, Lieberman says. But in those days, that was the look that people wanted. Okay, cool. That's what's up. So I guess he wrote it. I guess Lieberman, shoot, he pretty much hooked him up like, hey man, I'm gonna bless you with a Jaguar cub, but I need you to go ahead and write my standard for me, man. Since I went ahead and blessed you with a Jaguar cub. So salute to Lieberman, man, and salute to Swinford for the plug, man. I mean, shit, slide me a Jaguar cub. I probably would have did a few things for you. But let's carry on. Okay, so it says, then suddenly, unexpectedly, some 3 years after Lieberman met him, Swinford died. Sheesh. He was only 37. So wow. Wow. That's unfortunate, man. 3 years later, man. So rest in peace, Swinford, man, at 37, man. Says Lieberman carried on the bloodline, but eventually stopped breeding in the mid 1970s after his 6 generations, leaving no dogs to carry the line forward. Wow. Wow, that's unfortunate. All right, so we'll carry on. Okay, the catalyst for Lieberman was losing a litter of 21 puppies out of a Neapolitan bitch who had been bred to a band dog. But in truth, he had been growing weary with buyers. It's very hard to find people who are responsible, he says. The cockroaches were coming out of every nook and cranny, and most were not noble in purpose. Okay, well, shit, there's probably a lot of people want to use them for dog fighting, which I mean, yeah. Okay, so this is my thing. Okay, I'm gonna elaborate on this. So for me, I breed dogs with maximum, I'm Telling you, maximum prey drive and maximum man drive, but I have the on-off switch, which is very important because I don't want no liabilities. But I make sure that my dogs have maximum in all of it. Their DNA is maximum with the prey and maximum with the man. Now, if you pay a premium for one of my dogs, okay, and you choose to use it for whatever you choose to, whether it be fighting in countries that are allowed to fight, whether you use it for protection, whether you use it for, prey hunting, boars and etc. Me as the person who builds the dog, I don't control what you do with that dog, because if you're coming to me and you're spending top dollar for it, and you choose to put your dog in whatever environment you choose, that's your choice. That's just how I see it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say, hey, don't take my dog. That's your dog. Once you get it from me, that's your dog. And I bred it to have maximum of whatever you choose to put it into. So I don't, I wouldn't call those people cockroaches, but that's how he saw it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're gonna spend the money and that's your dog, sheesh. You know what I mean? It's like me. If I was a car manufacturer, right, and I produce Ferraris and Lambos, and it's this beautiful car, and it costs 500,000, right? It is beautiful. I put all the time and the engineering, and it's perfect. Put all the best parts in it. And you go out there and slut it out. You always hitting the rev limiter every time you drive, and you don't know how to shift good, and you blow it up. Hey, man, I mean, I ain't crying for you. You pay me my money. So same thing with the dogs, man. So that's just me. You know what I mean? If I produce you a performance dog and you want to put it in harm's way, that's your choice, man. You know what I mean? That's your choice. So let's carry on here. All right. So okay. As for the dogs, right? Lieberman says that they had nobility in spades, while the goal was to produce a dog that was, in Lieberman's words, an extremely athletic dog that feared nothing made of flesh. He thinks Swinford's greatest legacy was in producing a dog that was as stable as it was formidable. Okay, that's what's up. That's how I said, like the on-off switch, which makes the dog stable. You don't want a dog that's unstable, especially a dog that's a killer. Okay, a child could run up and hug them, and they wag their tails. He says all these dogs were great with kids, and they all had to coexist with each other. Okay, in that regard, I think he could accomplish a lot, and I think so too. And I think so too, because me as a breeder, when I'm putting a dog together that I know has breeds in it that are, you know, predators and strong and, pain tolerance to a minimum. Like when I'm putting these dogs together that are really war dogs, I wanted to have awareness. Okay. And what I mean by awareness is it needs to be conscious of when to be that and when not to be. When there's no threat around, even though the dog has the desire in him genetically to do, or her to do certain things for you, when it comes to terminating threats, it needs to know what's a threat and what's not. It needs to know that it needs to warn, like it needs to have awareness. You know what I'm saying? So this is an art form too, putting the right computers, the right brains in your dogs. And obviously Swinford thought about this. So salute to Swinford on that. Let's continue. Okay, so it says Lieberman acknowledges that the dogs with as strong a drive and guard instinct as Swinford's is arguably no longer compatible with modern American society. Those were different times, he sighs. You couldn't have a dog like that in today's time, or like that today. I think actually we need dogs like that today, but it needs to go to a responsible owner. But we'll carry on. Okay. So it says, yet another Long Islander, Ruth Winston, a familiar name to mastiff fanciers, as she and her husband Jay were associated with Tobin Jackson's famous Deer Run kennel, can attest to what a loyal companion the Bandog was. She owned a brindle bitch named Samantha, who sired by Lieberman's Hustle of Jamaica in the late 1970s. Winston, okay, let's say. Winston found Samantha through an ad in the New York Times and calls her the smartest dog she ever knew. She could literally speak, Winston says, adding that Samantha would call her mama. She would say out when she wanted to go out and up when she wanted to get on the bed. Wow. My mother would invite her friends over just so that they could see her. Okay, it says, though Winston said her band dog was gentle and affectionate, Lieberman warns that, like any large, determined guardian breed, the band dog is not for everyone. The average person should not own a Swinford band dog, he says uh, emphatically. Okay, adding the prospective owners should be experienced in handling serious dogs and should not live in a congested area. Okay, I can respect that. Okay, carry on. Okay, so you see that picture? That's Swinford right there. Remember he was a veterinarian and he was a fancier of exotic pets. So he had all that, all the exotic stuff. I mean, who else gonna get they partner a jaguar cub? You know what I mean? All right, so let's carry on. Though Swinford left no bloodline, his historically inspired recreation of the band doggy has promoted others to try and emulate it. Lieberman's notes that rather than focusing on their breeding programs, most band doggy breeders are more inclined to scrap among themselves over whose dogs are better and which crosses are more effective. Oh yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as pit bull community, man. The pit bull community is trash, especially the game dog one. But that's a whole nother topic. But I can see people doing that, and honestly, when he talks about that, when she breaks that down, or Lieberman talks about this, it should be friendly competition. You know what I mean? Which we should be trying to, with band dogs, we should try to make the best dogs, and we should be trying to push each other to make them better. Functionally, mentally, and looks like it should be a friendly thing. It should be no hate. You know what I mean? But people still do hate, so I get what he's talking about. But it shouldn't be hate. It should be a push for friendly competition. Like, hey, my dog is this, your dog should be that. All right, so we're almost closing out on this. In sharing their memories, those who knew Swinford hoped to provide a sliver of insight into the gentlemanly, self-effacing founder of the band doggy to those who would aspire to pick up the torch. You know what I mean? That's me. I'm sure that's some of you as well in the on this live and in the chat. Okay. Let's see. He was just somebody splendid to know, Garodner says. He had a dream and he put at least the beginning of it together. And Lieberman says he is pleased to see that others have taken up the torch more than decades after Swinford passed. And Lieberman decided to allow the original line to die out. Okay. Well, salute to you, Lieberman, for trying to carry it on, man. But not everybody's cut out for this dog man life. But in closing, all right, so it says, I have to say, it's very satisfying, and I have never thought it would happen. Lieberman says of the steady growth of the band dog breeders all over the world. Swinford's dream, it appears, is alive and well. Okay, so man. Okay, so salute, man. We got six here, man. God is good. Where we at, man? Royalty Methods, man. Salute to you. Yeah, hey, don't worry about it. You can hit the rewind button later on down the road and catch up. But the topic of today's live is John B. Swinford, the father of the modern day band dog. I went ahead and broke down an article, which pretty much told us who Swinford was, broke down the division, talked about the people who was in Swinford's life, who helped him, and gave him confirmation that he was doing his thing. He passed away pretty early, man, at age 37. And, he pretty much left a nice little idea for those of us like myself, to carry on the torch. You know what I'm saying? But, it shows that even earlier on in the medieval days, man, they was doing band dogs, you know what I'm saying, back in those days. But he's the modern day. And I would concur with that. You know what I'm saying? I would actually call him the godfather. That's what I see him as. I see him as the godfather of the band dog. You know what I'm saying? So, God is good. You know what I mean? Salute to Swinford. He definitely inspired me to do what I do with the band dog. And I know those of us who know about him, I'm pretty sure we're inspired by him as well. But his first recipe was a bull mastiff, and I didn't even know that. I thought it was a neo. It was a bull mastiff and a pit bull. And then he incorporated the Neapolitan Mastiff in there. So that's something that I learned, through this article. So salute to this article right here. All right. So, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat. But I just wanted to, you know, pay homage and salute to John B. Swinford, man. You know what I mean? And it's good for us to know our history and those of us who came and pioneered. I'm sure he had a lot of naysayers and a lot of haters back in his day saying, "Oh man, why you doing those mutts and why you mixing a pit bull with this?" I'm sure he had all that, but obviously he didn't care. And now, people like myself and I'm sure many others, man, we're doing what Swinford was doing, taking the master breed to a bull breed and trying to create the ultimate personal and property protection dog. You know what I mean? And Swinford was trying to go retro with it and try to produce those dogs of the past, man, from the 1500s and stuff like that. And so now, here we are in 2023, man, and the Bandog, recipes just got even more elaborate. It's not just a bull mastiff and a pit bull or a Neapolitan and a pit bull. It's all kind of different meshes and different breeds and stuff like that. And to me, that's what makes, being a Bandog breeder just so exciting, is that you can use your imagination and really, put together dogs like as if you put together a race car, what I mean? All off performance, and if you a real artist with it like me, you can make sure your performance matches the look matches the performance, you know what I mean? That's where it's next level, because Swinford wasn't worried about look, you know what I'm saying? He was worried about functionality in the early stages, but I'm sure that would change, you know what I'm saying? Like even when he had my man Lieberman, write the standard for him, he had certain things that he wanted to see and didn't want to see in that standard of Bandog that he was producing, you know what I'm saying? So, nowadays, us as breeders, we have more to choose from. We have more knowledge now that we can, you know, put the right dogs together to make a complete dog. It's still going to take time, you know what I mean? And if you're blessed enough to know of individuals who have some mixes that's already done, maybe they've already, 10 years in, however many years in, they got, three or four breeds or three breeds that you like and you like the look, then you can build off of that. You know what I'm saying? So that will, you know, shorten the time that you would have to take to produce what you're looking to produce over time. You know what I'm saying? So we're just in a better situation than, the Godfather, John B. Swinford. But he had an idea. He's a pioneer. You know what I mean? And you know, obviously enough to get into the world of dog fighting in that book. And they had wrote an article about him. Making these band dogs. And here we are today. Still carrying on that vision for him. So I'm sure that he would be proud if he was alive today to see where the band dog community has gone. We still got a lot of work to do, but it's a beautiful place to be because, you can be honest about the genetics that you're using, because a lot of people be lying. You know what I mean? A lot of so-called dog man like to lie to kick it. And you don't need to lie in this, you need to embrace your formulas. Now, I know back in the days, right, when it was all about performance dogs, performance pit bulls, that's where I come from. People would lie about their dog's pedigree on purpose so that you would not get the recipe, right? Which makes sense, right? If I'm kicking your ass, why would I want you to have my genetic recipe? So I would lie to you. If I matter of fact, I wouldn't even tell you, I don't have to lie to you, but people will lie and say it's bred this way and bred that way, right? But see, in this band dog community, this new, community that we're all in, it's beautiful to be able to tell your formula. I use this, I use that, I use this, I use that, to tell you recipes, because that's what we all here to do. You know what I mean? We're here to create the best ultimate performance, personal and property protection dog. You know what I mean? And we're allowed to use multiple breeds, okay, without feeling discriminated against, even though that's how every breed of dog is created. You feel me? Every breed of dog is created by using multiple breeds of dogs. So when you hear people talk about a mutt, Well, I mean, I guess, if you got two random dogs mating, then, you can slang it out and call it a mutt because it's some random ass mating thing that happened, right? But if it's thought out and planned, that's how you make a breed of dogs. So salute to Swinford on, his vision, and then also how it, transcended into what it is today. You know what I mean? Which is the modern day band doggy or the modern day band dog. All right. So what I'm hoping is, okay, this is what I'm hoping with the band dog community is that people, once they get their fantasy mixes in, because you can do it, but really think about form and functionality, like how I'm my whole mission: frames, brains, and motors. The look of the dog, the drive of the dog, the the mental of the dog, the temperament, the computer, all three, one, two, three, doing all three. Because today, right now, some of you guys who's in the band dogs, you might be a part of some of these band dog Facebook groups, like I am, and I support every dog, man. I'm not a hater. It's not in my blood. It's not in my pedigree. Even if I don't like a certain dog, I'm not here to downplay, and I would never downplay your creation because that's you. So I see a lot of dogs with cool genetic mixes, breed mixes, like, oh wow, Doberman, Tosa, Rat Terrier, whatever, Greyhound cross. You're like, oh, you be like, oh, that's dope. You know what I mean? Like, but when you accumulate all those genetics and those different breeds together, the outcome of it looks like trash. You know what I mean? It doesn't have an appealing look. Like if you see, you're like, well, it's like a collage, right? It doesn't make itself like, oh, what is that? That looks like its own dog. Well, it is its own dog, but I took these four or five, whatever dogs, three dogs, and I made it into one. That right there is still a process I feel that the band dog community needs to work on. You know what I mean? And you guys might concur with what I'm saying. Y'all might agree. But me, because I'm into all that, I want to see that, right? I want to see us as band dog breeders make sure that we make that dog look good. It's kind of like I said, I really, like I said, I do my dogs like how I would engineer. If I was an engineer of cars, if I'm doing sports cars, I want you to look at it and be like, that's a sexy sports car. Before you even pop open the hood, before you even open the doors up, before you even get in and start the engine up, I want you to see it and be like, "Ugh, that bad boy is sexy and mean." Like, I want you to be enticed by what it looked like. It looked like it can do what it looks fast, looks aggressive, right? But then not only that, we go take it out on that test drive, right? And then it do what it do. It do what it look like. See, that's how we have to be as band dog breeders eventually. Eventually, it's going to take some time because not every dog mixes well together. It might have the functionality like how Swinford first started. He wasn't worried about form, it was functionality, right? So it might do what you want it to do, which is good. We're going to clap our hands because performance is first with a band dog. However, if you want it to sell, right? Now, if you breeding for yourself, you don't care how it looks, do your thing. And like I said, I'm not here to hate on you, and we're not haters in this community. We're going to salute everybody, whether your stuff looked the part or not. If it performs what you want it to do, whether it looks cool or not, but it performs, it does everything you want, man, that's, there we go. That's half the battle. G.I. Joe, we're going to salute that half the battle. However, if you want to get top dollar, and I really feel honestly, where I really feel that when you put together the ultimate working dog that's healthy, functional, and got the looks and the drive and the capabilities of a fucking personal and property protection dog, you should be able to get top dollar, way more than what they get for these designer dogs that don't do nothing. Because that's how it is when you buy anything that's of performance, right? You go to the car dealership, you got the base model, you got the mid model, you might got the premium model, and then you got the sports model with the sports package. And when you go to the sports model, it's more money. You buy a plane, You got the bass playing. I mean, that's just how it is in all products, and that's how it should be in the dog game. It should be, if that dog looks and performs the way it is, then it should fetch the money. It should fetch the money. But it's backwards in the dog game today because people only know a dog for what it looks like. They don't really have a need for it unless you're buying a hunting dog or herding dog or something like that, or like the military, right? They buy them Malinois and stuff like that. It's already trained to go. They'll pay 30,000 for those because they're paying for the performance. See what I'm saying? So with the band dogs, we have that opportunity in what we're breeding with these band dogs to fetch that high ticket if you can produce the ultimate, the key word, personal and property protection dog that not only performs good, but it looks as good as it performs. You know what I'm saying? And that's an art form. That's an art form. Because like I said, you go on those groups, those band dog groups, and you see all kind of mixes, man. It'd be like, cool, 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 man. Oh, wow, what mixed with that? Oh, that's a cool mix. But the dogs look like it. Because it's an art. You know what I'm saying? It's an art to this shit. So, in closing, salute to John B. Swinford. Okay, world, salute to him. If you want to learn more about him, go ahead and study him. I'm sure there's more stuff written about him. But in my what I'm saying, perspective of who he is, that's the godfather of the modern day band dog. I will agree. You know what I'm saying? Because he started something that now slowly but surely the world is gravitating to. And it ain't nothing new under the sun. So he didn't invent nothing because everybody been mixing and matching. You know what I mean? They said they was doing band dogs back in the 1500s. But he is the modern day pioneer of the band dog. You feel me? And we got to, give him his flowers. And I'm definitely going to give him his flowers. I'm always going to show him respect. Rest in peace, John B. Swinford. I appreciate, what I'm saying, your vision and your dream. And, it carried on all the way even to myself, with my program, and I'm just thankful. Like I mentioned, my process and how I found about band dogs. I'm just thankful for the people who I was able to get, my foundation recipe from all their hard work. So same thing with John B. Swinford. I got to salute all his hard work. You know what I'm saying? Because that inspired, probably many people before me. It might have inspired even the breeder that I got my foundation recipe from. And it definitely, he definitely inspired me. You feel me? So I definitely want to pay my respects to him. And like I said, if you guys want to learn more, man, look him up, man. We got Google. Look him up and give him his flowers. But at the same time, be inspired. You know what I mean? Like really be inspired to be able to do your thing as a band dog breeder. You know what I'm saying? Which, remember, band dog is not a breed, right? It's a description. But we should be all striving to produce the ultimate personal and property protection. Excuse me, the personal property protection dog, the ultimate personal property protection dog that not only performs good, but it looks as good as it performs. Like that should be our goal. You feel me? So if you guys got any questions, let me know. Anybody with any questions? Royal Methods, the sixth main. You know what I mean? Salute to you coming in the chat. Salute to y'all showing up. But yeah, we about to wrap this thing up. You know what I mean? If nobody has any questions. And like I said, I do appreciate you guys coming out. Remember, every Thursday, 6:15 Pacific Standard Time, hop on. Come check me out. I'm definitely going to be giving up some game, and I just want to build this, slow and steady, win the race. I want to build it and hopefully, build a pretty good community, man, of dog men and dog women that want to do, next level performance dogs, so, definitely stay tuned in. I would definitely look forward to seeing y'all next week. And I'm going to carry the torch, man. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to carry the torch and, continue this movement on here. But also follow me on IG. Okay, at the Dog God, aka the Coach. If you want to talk directly to me, man, slide me a DM, man. Check out the dogs. That's pretty much where I'm at. If you're looking for a band dog, I got some things cooking up. You're looking for, I mean, shoot, I got all kind of stuff, man. So y'all looking for next level performance dogs, hit me up, man. I got that, next level. I would definitely want to be a pioneer of performance dogs, but ones that look good, perform good, and have even temperament. You know what I mean? On and off switches. I don't want no liabilities. I want killers that know when to kill and know when not to. You know what I'm saying? I don't want just loose cannons. You know what I mean? I don't want you to get none of that. But when you get one of my dogs, just know and expect it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And it's going to look like it too. You know what I mean? It's going to look like it. So nobody has any questions. I appreciate y'all coming out. Tap back in, watch this live over again, learn about John B. Swinford. We're going to salute him as the modern day father of the band dog. I'm going to call him the godfather of the band dog, and we're going to give him his flowers. But until then, check back in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe if y'all haven't. You know what I mean? Comment, whatever, show some love, man. We're going to continue this thing. We're going to keep this stuff moving, man, with these band dogs. So I appreciate y'all. I love y'all. Respect y'all. Much love and respect until until next time. Shit, man. Got to put in this work 3 times. So, all right, world. Much love and respect. We out.